Sports injuries happen all the time. There's no way to prevent them. However, there is ways to lower the risk of these injuries. And that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. But before I get into that, I want to tell you about an injury I had my senior year of high school. It was the second round of the playoffs. We were down by 1 point, 30 seconds left in the game. We were going in. It was 35. We were going in. I dropped back to throw the ball. Unfortunately, my arm gave out. Couldn't tell you why. Didn't know what happened. All I knew is the ball didn't go where I wanted to, and I ended up throwing an interception. So that same night, went to the hospital, ended up finding out I had a torn rotator cuff. And you know, a lot of athletes are thinking, why me? Why does this happen to me? Why does this happen to me and not anybody else? So they tell me I have to get surgery and I'm going to have to do a bunch of rehab and stuff and I'm going to be out for a while. So I go home that night and I'm thinking, again, why me? Why does this happen to me? So I decided to do some research. I wanted to figure out why this might have happened, how it's going to heal, and what I can do to prevent it from happening next time. So what I found out was a reason that this might have happened to me was I wasn't heating or icing properly, and I wasn't getting the proper warm-up before games or practice. So what was happening was my muscle in my shoulder was getting very, very tight. And when it gets very, very tight, you don't allow it to flex that well. And when I try to do something my muscle can't do, it tears. And that's what happened to me. So I did a little research, and I found out that I wasn't the only one that year that had a shoulder injury. According to the statistics that I found, 480,000 athletes had a shoulder injury that year, just in high school alone. And I'm thinking, that's a crazy number. But you know what? The problem is they're all having the same issues I'm having. They're not icing or stretching. They're not having proper warm-ups. And another fact was 90% of those injuries require surgery just like mine. And not only does this delay you from achieving any goals or dreams you have for the future, it's just a super long process. You can't really work out, you can't do anything. So it allows your muscles to get weaker, and you have to build those muscles up again once you're done. But like I said before, things happen. You can't prevent them. You can only lower the risk of these injuries happening. So for my presentation, I want to tell you guys a couple things. Not only was a shoulder a very common injury, but groin strains and pulls are very common as well. And you know, the cool thing is, they're all the same type of injuries. You can all lower the risk of these injuries the same way. One way, and one of the most effective ways, is to heat and ice before and after practice. Heating before practice allows the muscles to get warmed up before you stretch. So then it's just an extra warm-up for it, basically. Icing after practice allows the muscles to recoup, rebuild themselves, and just heal anything you have going on. That's why athletes like to take ice baths, because it's just a good way to get your body feeling better after a hard hitting day at football practice or a physical day at basketball practice, anything like that. Another thing is drinking a lot of fluids. I know it sounds crazy, but drinking a lot of fluids allows your body to recoup as well. If you're dehydrated, your muscles become weak. So that's just another way that you need to allow your body to recoup. Another injury I found that was super common was concussions. Now, I've had some concussions myself, and so have millions of athletes all over the United States. And I found that in football, 8% of injuries are concussions. And usually that's due to bad equipment, bad technique, things like that. So when I was researching concussions, for football specifically, let's say, I found, of course, 8% of the injuries were concussions. And I'm thinking, that's crazy. I've only had one or two, and it was, what, not that bad? Well, here's some ways to prevent them. Again, updated helmets, updated equipment, good coaching, with meaning teach these kids how to actually tackle, keep their head up when they're tackling so they don't have any neck injuries or head injuries. And the problem is, when these aren't taught, these kids could, one, end up with broken necks, two, severe concussions, and if you don't know already, too many concussions can cause the brain to have CTE. And that's a very serious disease that can actually kill people. So I recommend, if you're a coach, player, try to get the most updated equipment you can. Andrew was a 19-year-old college soccer player, okay? He ruptured his ACL during a game. Now that's another common knee injury. However, he wasn't able to go back on the field for 7 months. It required surgery, a ton of rehab, and he was out for a long time even after his rehab and surgery. And unfortunately, he was not able to go back onto the field after that. John was another athlete who had a severe injury. He was a long distance runner. And one day, just training, not even competing, doing anything, just training for one of his marathons, he felt a strong pop in his side groin area. Well, went to the doctor the next day, found out he had a pulled groin. Now that's not as serious as a torn ACL, so he was able to recoup and it allowed it to heal a little bit, and he was able to come back within the next month or two. But all these injuries are the same. When you think about it, I keep going back to icing, heating, stretching, warming up. When it comes to muscles in the body, you have to do that in order to allow your muscles to work properly. If you don't, things like this happen. So again, I'll go back over everything again. Icing. Ice anytime you can after practice. That's the best way to allow your body to heal faster and recoup after a strong day, hard day of work. Heating before practice. That's the best way to get your muscles warmed up, allow your muscles to work before doing any physical activity. Stretching. Stretching after heating. It allows your muscles to stretch, gives you more flexibility, allows your body to move in ways you might not think they can. It's just a good way to keep your body strong, healthy, and warming up properly. When you warm up with the team, when you warm up by yourself, take it serious. A lot of athletes go through the motions, don't really kind of iffy at there, here and there. Take it serious. When athletes take it serious, nothing happens, or the risk for their injuries are very slim. When athletes don't really do anything and they don't take anything seriously, you see all these injuries occur. So I just want to thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for listening to my speech today. Any questions?
Have you been using these techniques and have they helped you prevent your injuries?
So I have been using the techniques. They've actually been helping pretty well. I haven't had any injuries since. I've been icing, heating, and doing a lot of stretching before and after workouts. So they work pretty well.